In this video, we're going to be taking a look at and testing out the Rockie Talkie 5-watt GMRS radio, which is designed to be the ultimate backcountry radio, designed specifically for overlanding, hunting and fishing, water sports, hiking, mountain biking, skiing and snowboarding, and even emergency comms, with excellent battery life and range. And I've tested out a bunch of different walkie-talkies on this channel, including the original 2-watt FRS Rockie Talkie, which is actually my favorite FRS walkie-talkie on the market. So I'm really excited to see how the GMRS version stacks up, and they both operate on the same frequency, so they are cross-compatible. If you don't have a GMRS license, you should definitely get one, and they're really simple to obtain, and there's no test involved, and you'll be able to run radios at much higher outputs, which will significantly improve the range. And you can also tap into repeaters to extend your range even further, and there's an easy to follow guide on Rockie Talkie's website, which will tell you everything that you need to know, and they only cost about $35, and they cover you and your immediate family members. Before we dive in, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you want to pick up the Rockie Talkie and help support my channel, you can use the affiliated links down in the description. And at the moment, you can pick up a pair of the GMRS radios for $330 or a single one for $165. Alright, so let's start off by taking a look at the Rockie Talkie. The display has a bit of a frosted finish, and you'll be able to see what channel you're on and whether the channel is on its high or low power, the privacy codes, whether or not the repeater channel is active, battery life, lockout status, weather mode, volume, and signal strength. The red button on top turns the Rockie Talkie on and off, and it'll also allow you to check the remaining battery life as a percentage when it's turned on. Next to that, we've got the channel flipper, which will allow you to switch between channels, and the secondary mode will allow you to lock and unlock the radio and also scan for activity on different channels. The included 7.5cm antenna is removable, and it has an SMA male connector, so it can easily be upgraded. And I also have this longer 17cm antenna, which would be useful if you need to improve the range of your setup. On the left side, there's a tiny red button with an A and B, which is for the dual channel watch feature, which will allow you to monitor and transmit on 2 different channels at the same time. The large red button beneath that is the push to talk button, and it's nice and big, so it's easy not to confuse it with the other buttons. Beneath that, this tiny little black button with the plus sign on it has a primary function of turning the volume up, but you can also set up the NOAA weather mode and the NOAA emergency alert monitoring. Beneath that is the volume down button, and this will allow you to set CT and DCS privacy codes, which will help you cut down on unwanted chatter from people outside of your group, and also enable repeater channels, which will increase your range by allowing you to access public repeaters in your area. If you're curious about finding local repeaters in your area, you can check out this map on mygmrs.com, and you can take a look around and find all the repeaters close by. And if you're looking to set up your own repeater and extend the range of your handheld radio for a very reasonable price, check out the RT97 portable GMRS repeater from Mertevis, and you can set up your own base station, and I'll share a link with that down below as well. On the other side of the Rockie Talkie, there's a protected headset cover with an M3 port and also a protected USB-C charging port, which is very convenient, and you can use it to charge the 1800 mAh lithium-ion battery, which should provide approximately 4 to 6 days of battery life depending on your usage. These radios can also operate in pretty extreme temperatures, up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way down to -20 degrees, so they should function under pretty much any conditions that you might need them. Finally, on the back, we've got a very strong Alligator 2 style clip, which is removable, and this is going to make it easy for you to attach it to your packs and your other gear. There's also some accessories available on the website, including a waterproof hand mic, a carabiner loop just like the one that we saw on the FRS Rockie Talkie, and an additional battery so you can keep your comms going longer in the field. When I began to use it, I was very impressed by the clarity and the quality of the audio, and I also wanted to test it out to see what kind of range I could get from a pair of these in a very densely populated urban environment with tons of obstacles between the two radios. And on their website, they claim that they're good for about 2 to 8 miles in the backcountry, but this test I'm about to perform will be much more difficult, so I brought one of these upstairs and placed it on a second-story balcony, and then I went downstairs and hopped in my 4Runner and went for a little drive and tested it out in a bunch of different locations to see what kind of range I could get. For most of my test, I was on the ground floor, and for the most part they all went really well, but I did start to get a pretty weak connection at around 2 miles away. But for my final test, I went to the top of a parking structure and was able to get excellent reception at about 2.5 miles because there were significantly fewer obstacles between the radios, even though they still did not have line of sight. With line of sight, Rockie Talkie claims that you should be able to get over 35 miles of range, which is exceptional for a handheld radio. So far, my experience with the Rockie Rockie Talkie has been really good. The build quality is excellent, and the UI is very easy to use, and overall the performance in my range test definitely exceeded my expectations. And if you're currently looking to get a GMRS radio, this would definitely be a good option to consider. Let me know your thoughts on the Rockie Talkie 5-watt GMRS, and if you want to pick one up and help support the channel, you can find a link down in the description below. In a few weeks, I'm going to be comparing the Rockie Talkie GMRS to a bunch of other different GMRS radios together in the same video, head to head. And if you're serious about purchasing a GMRS radio and you want to check out some other options, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. And I can already tell that this radio will do exceptionally well in that comparison.